Yeah, I'm sure you saw this one coming. Today we're taking yet another look at this Sylvania Windows embedded internet device laptop thing that we recently explored in this video. And if you missed that one, this was recently sent out to me by a viewer named Case. Thank you very much once again. And in that episode, we just kind of explored its pre-installed operating system. We tried to run some emulators and some games on it. And, it actually performed better than I expected, but still, it's a Windows CE device, so, you can't really expect much. But today, we're going to be trying to push this thing to the limits by installing some other operating systems on it, specifically Arch Linux. That's right, we're going down that rabbit hole today, so we're going to pop in this SD card and see what we can do with it. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. So I definitely jumped a little bit ahead of myself here because we don't actually have anything set up on this SD card right now so that this system that keeps wanting to go to sleep can be able to boot from it. But that is one of the neat things about these Sylvania / however other many brands these things were sold under, laptop internet device things, is that they do have an SD card slot and you are able to boot off of an SD card if you configure it properly. So this is nothing new. People have done this for years, pretty much ever since these devices first came out, and there have been a few tutorial guides written on how you can do this yourself, and I was able to find one specifically for Arch Linux, so we're going to follow along with that shortly here and see if we can get that installed on this SD card and boot it up from the system. The really nice thing about doing this is that you don't actually have to mess with the Windows CE partition on the internal storage device at all. So to get started, I'm going to swap over to one of my Linux machines and we'll get this SD card configured and see what we can do. Right after a quick word from today's sponsor, boot.dev. If you've ever wanted to learn how to program, boot.dev can get you on the right track to learning back-end web development in both Python and Go. They believe the best way to learn to code is to make sure you don't get bored, and that's why the entire platform is designed to feel like a role-playing game. You'll earn XP, gain achievements, advance through levels, and complete quests to try and get a top spot on the global leaderboard. And the whole time, you'll be writing a ton of code, because actually getting your hands on the keyboard really is the best way to learn. And if you ever happen to get stuck or can't figure something out, there are solutions available for each programming challenge to see exactly how the instructor wrote the code. On top of all that, boot.dev doesn't ever want you to feel like you wasted your money. So if the courses aren't working out for you, they offer a 30-day, no questions asked refund policy and even allow you to demo every course before subscribing to a membership, which you can do by clicking the link below. And if you use code MichaelMJD at checkout, you'll get 25% off your first month or even your first year if you choose the annual plan. So be sure to check them out, and huge thanks again to boot.dev for making this video possible. Alright, so we're here in a fresh install of Ubuntu Linux, because I figured we'd switch up the distro of choice today. And right here is one of those tutorials that I was talking about. This was published over on kernelhacks.blogspot.com. And by the way, I'll have all of these links that I mentioned today down below if you want to go check this stuff out for yourself. Now, this is a pretty old guide. It was published in June of 2012. And you can see that as of November 2012, apparently you can't use a version of Arch Linux released after then with this guide because of changes in the boot process. So we are going to have to use a bit of an older version. And luckily, as linked in this other post on the same blog, there are a couple of pre-built images available, or rather just one pre-built image, but there's two different links to the same image here. So we're going to go this route today because I figured, we haven't tried Arch before. This is a bit of an easier way to get it set up, and we're also probably going to piss off all of the Arch elitists for not compiling it from scratch, so I figured we're killing like two birds with one stone there. Unfortunately, though, both of these links are dead. If you try to open them up, one of these is hosted on Hotfile, which is just down, and the other takes you to a file factory link. And yeah, you can see this is just an invalid download link, so this is completely useless to us. So yeah, that was pretty disappointing because this image seemed like it was going to make things so much easier for us because it already has the LXDE desktop environment set up. It sounds like you just have to copy it over to an SD card and you're pretty much good to go from there. So I thought we were going to have to do things from scratch, which wouldn't have been the biggest deal, but then I came across this Internet Archive listing uploaded by good old PCs back in 2020. And this right here not only contains these, or just this image you could get through either one of these links, but also a bunch of other Linux related stuff for both Arch and Debian, and getting those systems running on a WM8650 devices. Now, WM8650 is the model number of the CPU that's in the Sylvania Netbook internet device thing, as well as, a bunch of other devices as well. So I went ahead and downloaded this entire archive and pulled out the 2 images that we need for Arch Linux, and one of those is the image I just talked about that already has LXDE and everything set up on it. And then we have the boot image here. Now, the boot image, interestingly enough, is still available through, if you go back to the original blog post, which it mentions here, what you would have to do is download the full system image and then follow the first 2 steps that the author wrote in the previous blog post. So if you go back to here and scroll down to where the tutorial begins, it's mentioned right here that you have to get the boot partition, and this is still available through the original link here on MediaFire, so that's pretty cool. But you could also get it through this archive as well, so that's what I've done. So we're just going to begin. I'm going to pop in. I've got both a 4 gig and a 32 gig SD card, so I figured we would just go overkill with a 32 gig card, especially if we want to install like some programs and stuff on this, assuming of course we can get it working. So what we're going to do is pop in this SD card to the system, and you can see this was used on one of my Wii's actually, so you got Boot Me on here, and yeah, this was actually when I did the Linux on the Nintendo Wii video, because we have a Linux partition on here. But we're gonna close out of all that, and I've got gparted on here. We got to open that up to partition this, so we'll authenticate with our super secure password there. So we're going to switch over to the SD card, and we are going to unmount this FAT16 partition so that we can actually get rid of it, and we'll do the same thing with the ext3 one, so we'll unmount that, and then we're just gonna delete these partitions, and we'll apply those changes. So first, create a very small FAT32 partition and name it boot. Smallest partition gpart allowed me to make was 33 megabytes. So, okay. And now we can just use the rest of the unallocated space for an ext3 partition and call it arch_sys. Alright, we're done. So, close out of gparted here. And if we go into, I'll just open up a new window here, and you see we have archsys and boot, and there's nothing on either of them. So now we can open up a terminal window, and let's see, we got to go to documents, go to our lovely appropriately named folder there. And yeah, so we got those 2 images in here. So what you would have to do is run this image to untar the boot file here, which is this one, and copy everything over to the boot partition. Then you would start going through the process of downloading the root file system, untarring that, and getting all that set up, which we don't have to do because we already have that pre-built image. And I'm just going to copy this first part of the command here and paste that into terminal. And then, the reason why I'm not copying this is because we have to get the actual file path for the boot partition on our system. So that's going to be media Michael boot. So we'll copy that, and we'll paste that in here. And we should, do we have to run this as sudo? We might. Maybe not. It looks like it just did it. Yep, there we go. So that's everything on the boot partition. So now we can go back, and we're going to go into Arch System here. And normally what you would do if you didn't have that pre-built image downloaded is you would just follow along with the rest of this guide, download the root file system, copy those files over to the card, do all that. As you can see, the entire process is just listed right here. But thanks to the fact that we're using that pre-built one, we can go back to this guide, and we can copy, once again, this first portion of the command, and we'll paste that in here, and then go to our Arch System directory and paste that section here. Run that, and looks like we're getting a bunch of permission denied and no such file or directory errors. Okay, so we probably have to run this as sudo, so let's just break that command. Oh yeah, you see now it's copying stuff over. It's just not outputting anything because the command's still in process there. Alright, so that is done. It did take a little while, but it's copied everything over here to the Arch System directory, at least supposedly. And I think that we're good to go. So we're just going to go actually back into the file manager here to safely eject the SD card. And we'll swap over to the Sylvania laptop and see if this thing works. So I think all we have to do is pop in the SD card to the slot here and power on the machine. I think it'll just start booting off of the SD card. I think it just bypasses the internal drive when you have one put in that has a bootable partition on it. And yeah, that's exactly what it does. So here we go. Oh yeah, what's the username? Is it just, can we just log in as root? I know it's a bad idea, but okay, there is a password. Okay, it's just root and root. So I was on the right track there. Root and root for the root user, user and user for a non-privileged account. And would you look at that? So here we are in the LXDE desktop environment. That's really awesome. So yeah, we'll have to explore this and see what we've got on here. I'm curious if, did it recognize the network adapters? Let's see. No network device is available. Okay, so that is unfortunate. It actually looks like there's another file we have to download to get that working, so let's do that really quick. Okay, so let's pop this in to one of the available USB ports, and hopefully it's recognizing the USB ports. Let's hop into... Oh yeah, there we go. So yeah, we'll open in File Manager, and we'll just... open up a terminal session here, and the command is pacman-u, and then the name of the file, so wmt- and we'll just do a tab there, and I think that's it. Proceed with installation, yes, and there we go. Now we have to run a GPIO command and put in this whole string of text, so we'll just do that here. No network connections available. Now the only thing is this could be for a slightly different Wi-Fi chip. But I'm wondering if we just do, let's just do a reboot here. Actually, we don't have to run anything as sudo because we're logged in as root. Let's just reboot the system. Okay, actually, you're not supposed to reboot because when you do that, you just have to run that same GPIO command again. Alright, it's been a little while, and I did try some more attempts at getting this thing to recognize either the wireless adapter or the Ethernet adapter, and I wasn't successful at anything, long story short, so unfortunately, we're just going to have to use this system without internet access. I'm guessing that package we installed might just be for a slightly different Wi-Fi adapter for another system that had the same processor in it, but not specifically this one here. But that does give us an excuse to try out Debian a little bit later on and see if we're any more successful at getting internet access under that system. But we will just explore Arch Linux a little bit here. We'll see what came with this particular image. One thing I did notice though, since the file manager is the first thing here in accessories, we might as well open it back up. Remember before how I was saying that you have to run that GPIO command every time you start the system unless you configure it to start automatically? Well, there is this Wi-Fi on script that was dropped here in the home folder when we ran pacman and installed that package to the system. That just does that for us. It's already typed out here. So if we open this in AbiWord, and you see under these two commented lines, there it is. And I did try to run this script to just make sure that I didn't like mistype anything here. And you see that we still don't have any network devices available. It still doesn't detect anything. Here we have a calculator, or a galculator actually. Yeah, we'll just get maybe a few other applications running at the same time. And right here at the bottom, you see we have a CPU usage graph. Let's see if we double click this or something. Can we open this up in like full screen? Maybe not. That's just like a panel item. We can view about information for that. That's just LX panel. Yeah, 2011. So there we have a newer date. I mean, I'm guessing this image had to have been compiled around the time that blog post was written, because that just makes sense, right? But yeah, we also have, so we got that image viewer, we have LeafPad and LX terminal. So LeafPad, I believe, is just a text editor. Yeah, so there you go. Basic text editor, it looks like. We'll view the about information 0.8.18.1. It looks like we have an SSH and a VNC server browser. We have links, which is interesting. Oh, it's a text and graphics World Wide Web browser. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've actually never used this before. Unfortunately, again, we can't really go to a URL or anything. You actually have a couple web browsers on here, because you've got that. You've got Midori and Midori private browsing as well. It just shows up as a separate item. Of course, we're going to get an error page here, but Yeah, I mean, oh, and we use DuckDuckGo as a search engine. Isn't that nice? I always love to see DuckDuckGo representation, you know, having it show up every so often in these browsers. Under Office, we have AbiWord, which we took a look at. It's kind of like a, you know, Microsoft Word type application. I wonder if it can save to doc. So maybe we'll just say, you know, my usual hello world. This is so cool. So cool. Yeah, it's so cool. And let's just not make a new one, but we'll save the existing one. No, don't make untitled. That is a really small window that opened up in. Okay. But yeah, so we'll save that. Okay, so AbiWord looks to have its own file format, but we can save it to a .doc. That's nice. And of course, all these other file extensions. And there's docx. We also have ePDF Viewer. It's a PDF viewer by Emmasoft. Huh, that's where the E must come from. 0.1.8 from 2011 is the latest copyright date on there. So that's a good guess as to when it was released. We also have a music player. I would like to see if sound works on this thing. I don't see a sound icon down here. And I don't think there are any, like, sample sound files on here. Let's just see if we can double click on this from here. And okay, we have to choose an application. So let's see if we can choose the music player. We also have this Qt, I'm guessing QuickTime test utility of some type, but let's see if it opens up with a music player. Okay, is it loaded? I don't think it is. Okay, let's try to add a file to the playlist. Okay, there it is. And we'll hit play. Oh boy, there we go. So that's awesome. At least we have something working on this thing. So of course the speakers in this thing are just absolutely lovely quality. We also have Task Manager under System Tools. Definitely useful to have. You can see we've got CPU graph and a memory graph in here as well. So yeah, again, we got the CPU one here in the system tray. Can we change this, I wonder, to be the memory graph? We might just be able to add another one. Let's see, panel preferences. Okay, this is just appearance and stuff. Yeah, here's all the panel applets. So we've got taskbar, we've got CPU usage monitor. Do we have a memory one? I guess we don't. Interesting. Well, we can add stuff. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Do we have resource monitors? It might be under there. And you see that just added this one over here, but it looks to be displaying the CPU graph as well. We've got settings here. And there we go. Display RAM usage. Awesome. You can also change the color here if you want to, if you know the hex code offhand. So that's nice. Pretty awesome. So we could just get rid of the CPU specific one here. I wonder if there aren't any settings for that one. Okay, but we'll just get rid of that one. And we can maybe move this one, like, move it up on the list here. So it's over, like, maybe we want it right there. And yeah, so you got a bunch of applets in here, or, you know, plugins, whatever you want to call them, that you can add to here, which is nice. The main thing I wanted was the memory monitor, so now we don't have to have Task Manager up to see how the system's doing. And then under settings here, under preferences, because we want to be more proper, I guess, we've got customize look and feel, which, you know, we have to go in here and mess around with these settings. Looks like we got a couple different themes here. We've got Raleigh and Bubble. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I know what we're applying. Holy, like, what the heck? I mean, look at this. This is, whose idea was this to make this a default option in here? Icon theme, we've got two of those in here. Looks like we do have a gnome one. So, yeah, why not? We'll change it to that. Mouse cursor. Do we not have any mouse cursors on here? By default anyways. I mean, aside from just the default one we have selected now, but that doesn't even show up in here. Window border. Alright. What's like the most obnoxious one in here? They all look fine. This one here just looks kind of cool, so we're going to go with that one. And what do we got? Title bar. Oh, we got a font selector. Okay, you know what that means. Well, Comic Sans is a Microsoft font, so we're probably not going to have that in here. In fact, we don't really have very many fonts at all. We've got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And, oh my gosh, the system's definitely struggling to keep up there. Alright, let's go with free serif. And let's make this, what's the largest one we got in here? 72. That's what I'm talking about. Alright, there we go. So, Well, that just increased the size of the window, but like the title bar here, you can still see is not, it's still that normal size font. Like, what the heck are we, like, what are we doing here, man? Just set this other one to 72 as well. What do we got under miscellaneous? Font for menu header. We're just gonna bump all this up because, you know, why not? Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's frickin' go. All right, so we've got all that selected. Now, can we move this over here? See, this is the problem. We're not gonna be able to hit the apply button because the window is too big, and I don't think that hitting enter is gonna really help us. Okay, can we just do like Alt A, Control A, enter? Well, we can resize the window, but I don't think that's gonna really do anything for us. Okay, here's what we have to do. We have to, oh, we can't get to that option though unless we're at the frickin' menu bar. Oh, come on, now we're completely screwed. How about, can we right-click in the system tray? Raise? No? Oh my gosh, we can use the keyboard. Okay, I just figured it out. So we're gonna just go up and move this all the way up, move it all the way over. There's the apply button. Okay, so we'll hit there, hit apply. Okay, and close. And did that do it? Yes, it did. Check that out. So, okay. We've got this ridiculously, oh my gosh, look at the menus, holy cow. Well, hey, this is appropriate because if you remember the menus on Windows CE on this thing, how freaking huge they were. Yeah, so this makes me feel right at home. So yeah, evidently this does not apply in the applications menu here. But, you know, when we open up programs and stuff, like I imagine if we open up Midori here, it's going to be kind of the same thing going on. Oh yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about, dude. We can we can move the window around. We can, oh well, I mean, good luck with that, because when you try to grab it here and you click the icon, it just brings up this context menu. You want to click on this website here? Okay, well the context menu inside the program still looks normal, but yeah, I just love that you're even able to do this, that it just lets you completely screw up the, like, display settings like this. But, yeah, so, I mean, I guess, what else can we do in here in the taskbar? Panel settings, we already kinda were in here, and we explored the other widgets here. We can change the, oh, here we go, we can change the size. Yeah, we definitely want that width to be, you know, or really the height is what we want. We want that to be like, I don't know, 900. Oh, 200 is the maximum. Okay. Well, we can change the icon size. Can we bump that to 900? 200 is the maximum, okay. We can change the alignment of everything too. We want this on top maybe. Maybe not, because now we can't actually see the frickin' title bar. Yeah, that's awesome, isn't it? Oh my gosh, what is this? Oh, this is the music player. We still have this open. So, okay. I think we have definitely screwed around with this enough, but that is Arch Linux on this thing, and that's completely messing up and making it practically unusable. Now what we're going to do is swap back to our HP laptop over here, and we'll see if we can get Debian set up on this SD card and see if we're more successful at getting this thing online with that. Alright, well, after much troubleshooting, I was successfully able to get a copy of Debian running on this thing, albeit a pretty old version. This is not a modern version of Debian at all. And if you saw Action Retro's video that he made on his Sylvania laptop, he was able to get a modern version of Linux running on it. But he had the WM8505 model, which, as I've been looking online, that seems to be the more popular one. And there is a specific repository on GitHub that he used that is made for the WM8505, and you are able to use it to get a modern version of Linux running on it. I tried that same exact repository on this thing, was not successful at all. And I did try a handful of other repositories as well, and was unsuccessful in getting any of those to work. But then I found this one that I actually got from a viewer named Ray, and I got to give a huge thank you to her for uploading some stuff to the Internet Archive and then sending me the link. This particular copy of Debian was made for the WM8650, so it runs on here just fine. All I had to do was just copy the files over to the SD card and we were good to go. So I'll have that link down below if you happen to have one of these WM8650 models and want to get Debian running on it for whatever reason. But the cool thing about this is it actually recognizes the network card and we can get online. In the internet's category here in the applications menu, there is this Wi-Fi off and Wi-Fi on. So if we hit Wi-Fi on, it actually, funnily enough, doesn't seem to recognize the wireless adapter, but it does recognize the wired one, so I've got an Ethernet cable plugged into here, and we're able to get online through that. So if we open up that folder once again, we've got Midori here, so we can start that up. And yep, there's Google. So of course this is going to be some like ancient version of Midori. Let's actually try to see if we can go into properties here, just about, and see 0.4.3, 2007 to 2011. Yeah, we've got Google loaded up. I mean, we could go to the old net, you know, and just show you that we can actually browse the web on this, you know, theoldnet.com. Dang, the Internet Archive is still rate limiting them. That's unfortunate, but yeah, you know, it shows up here just fine. Of course, with this being an old page, you're not going to really have any display issues. Of course, you know, the fact that it doesn't seem to recognize the Wi-Fi adapter does defeat the purpose of this thing being a portable system, because you have to have it plugged in to your Ethernet, you know, connection. But hey, it's better than not having internet access at all. So you got a web browser on here. I think you might actually have a couple of web browsers. Let's go back into that internet category. So you've got a mail program, an FTP client. Yeah, you've got NetSurf web browser. You've got Pigeon Internet Messenger, transmission. So you have a torrent client on here, and you have an IRC client. So let's try out NetSurf, see what version this is. And it looks like it's NetSurf 2.8 from September 2011. Let's see what we got under accessories. So we have, okay, file manager, LX terminal. Oh, and by the way, this is running the LXDE desktop environment, if you haven't been able to tell. If we go to about here, this is LX panel. So, you know, this is the exact same UI that we just had running under Arch. And it looks like we have a couple games on here too, and I definitely want to check out both of these. So we have Eltris, which is probably, oh yeah, there you go, a Tetris clone, okay. And then we have Tux Puck, which is an air hockey game. So let's try to launch the Tetris clone here. I wonder if we have sound working. We'll have to verify that in a minute, but let's just hit new game, or do we have to use the mouse? Yeah. Oh, and there's sound. Look at that. Okay, or listen to that rather, I should say. So yeah, we'll do new game. Unfortunately, it looks like we don't have music. That really detracts from the experience. Maybe we can turn it on. But let's see. So is space going to be, no, is there not a way to drop it all the way to the bottom? I don't think there is, actually. Maybe it's like enter or something. No? Okay, so you have to just, you know, drag it down like that. But, you know, it's Tetris. I mean, I feel like a Tetris clone shows up in like every other video. I mean, I know it doesn't, but it just feels like it, because, I mean, hey, not that I'm complaining. I mean, Tetris is awesome, and I am, you know, I am pretty good at it, just not apparently right now, because I made a couple misplays there. So there we go. Yeah, sure, we'll do that. We gotta clear this out now. I don't want this to turn into a video of me playing Tetris. I don't know how many people would be interested in watching that for like 45 minutes. But, you know, it's Tetris, or Eltris, I should say. But let's see, let's hit escape here. End game, yes. I want to see if there's an like if there's any music or something on here, because Tetris just doesn't feel like Tetris without something playing in the background. Sound on volume 6. So yeah, those are the only two options. Well, hey, at least we got sound working on here, and I wonder if this other game here, this hockey, or not hockey, but well, air hockey. We'll see if this game has any sound in it. So we have a very slow introduction animation there. All right, play match. Okay. That looks kind of uncanny. We're gonna... we'll just see how... Okay. Oh, well, he just scored on me there. Or did he? Yeah, he did. He also scored on me there. Dang. Yeah, and there's no sound at all. Unless there's like a setting that we can enable. Alright, he's just kind of stuck in like a loop here. I'm literally not moving at all. Come on, Tux. You gotta like hit it, you know, another way. Alright. I guess I'll try to do it then. Let's see. Come on. Can I score once here? Oh, he scored again. He scored again. Dang it. Dang it, man. Come on, like, I have to get 1 point. Can I get 1 score? You know, I don't know. The CPU certainly seems pretty good. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, okay, let's just, yeah, we'll surrender, sure. So, are there any... There aren't even any options. This is the main menu. Play, match, or exit. Yeah, okay, that's Tux Racer. I mean, or Tux Racer, holy cow. That's another great game. Tux Puck. Tux Racer does have sound in it, too. That would probably struggle to run on here, though. Looks like we have some graphical stuff as well. We have, I don't even know what some of this stuff is. A comic book, a viewer for comic book archives. Well, if you had any comic books, or I would assume this works with manga as well. Oh yeah, there's a manga mode, there you go. So, you know, if you wanted to read some stuff and had them downloaded on this computer again for whatever reason, you've got the ability to do that from here. It's kind of neat to see the default applications that they included. I don't know, like, maybe that was something included with Debian, or maybe that was something downloaded by whoever put this image together. We have a graphic editor, MPaint. Oh, it's actually called MT Paint, and yeah, that's a paint program, so we can, I don't know, draw lines there like I just did. We can write some text. Michael MJD is so cool, because I hope you guys think that about me. Let's get, oh, do we got like a really obnoxious text? Let's see, or font. Oh yeah, that makes total sense. Let's just get that in here. You already saw all the internet stuff. Under Office, we've got, looks like a Word program, a calendar, text editor, a to-do list, and a PDF viewer. And under Other, we just have a whole, like, hodgepodge of just stuff. A lot of this is, like, you see we have the NetSurf browser in here, so it's stuff from these other categories. And also just command line tools like Nano. You've got, like, for some reason, they just got all that thrown in here. Under Sound and Video, we've got an audio player, as well as a GNOME M player, and a volume control. And system tools, we've got a battery applet, and we have HTOP in here for some reason, and we've got Xterm. So we have Xterm and we have LX terminal under accessories. And then you got some preferences for changing like the desktop background, and you know, I'm not going to go in and like try to mess up this entire, you know, desktop environment, because we did that with Arch, and to be honest, it was kind of annoying to navigate around in after we did that. So you've definitely got a nice selection of applications on here, and if you had installed this version of Debian back when it was new, like in 2011, 2012 on this thing, you would probably be pretty happy with the extra potential that it would have given your little netbook here. I am going to be on the lookout for one of those WM8505 Sylvania or just other logo slapped on it netbook things, because like I said, those seem to be the more popular models. There is that repository on GitHub to install a modern version of Linux on one of those machines, and I would like to do some more stuff with that, and you know, kind of see how that compares to this one here. I also, you know, have to send this back to Case. He did loan this to me, and you know, he has been very, very accommodating. I got to give it just a huge thank you to him. He said that he doesn't need this back anytime soon, and you saw in the original video, he didn't even open the thing. He just let me do that on video for the first time, which is really generous of him. But you know, it's been like a couple weeks. I just don't want to hold on to this thing for so much longer, even though he said like it's fine. I'm gonna feel bad. I just want to, you know, get this sent back to him, and I think that we're at a pretty good stopping point for this video. But like I said, you know, if I do find one of those other models, you'll probably be seeing at least a video or two of it on this channel, so stay tuned for that, maybe. But that is going to wrap up this episode. I want to give a huge thank you again to Case for sending me this thing, as well as Ray for sending me this copy of Debian to get running on here. And if you guys enjoyed this video, if you want to see more like it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, get subscribed, maybe consider becoming a patron or a channel member to get early access to these videos before anybody else. But either way, as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.